All right, everyone, buckle up. We're back for another deep dive, and this time it's all about Game 2 of the Braves versus Padres NL Wildcard Series.
Padres definitely brought their A game in Game 1, that's for sure. It's win or go home for Atlanta now.
Yeah, no pressure, Braves. But seriously, the stakes couldn't be higher, and we're here to break it all down. We've got some awesome articles lined up from USA Today's Sportsbook Wire, Pick Dogs, and NBC Sports. Each one's got a slightly different angle on the game.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything, betting odds, expert predictions, you name it. Should give us a pretty well-rounded perspective on this one.
Totally. Okay, so Game 1. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Braves looked, well, let's just say they didn't look like themselves. That doubleheader against the Mets followed by a cross-country flight. Oof. I'd be wiped out too.
Yeah, and it showed, right? Offensively, they were a no-show.
Yeah.
Can you believe they only managed one extra base hit the entire game?
Yeah.
For a team that can usually rake, that's almost unbelievable.
I know, right? It's like they forgot how to hit anything but singles.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole A.J. Smith-Schauber situation. Starting a rookie in a must-win game. Talk about a gamble.
Yeah, you got to feel for the guy. I mean, his second MLB start ever, and it's an elimination game. Talk about being thrown into the fire.
Yikes. No kidding. Speaking of pressure, how about Max Fried getting the ball for Game 2? Seasoned lefty, but his playoff track record, a little iffy, wouldn't you say?
A little bit. And to make matters worse, his only start against the Padres this season, a loss. Not exactly inspiring stuff for Braves fans.
Oof. Talk about adding insult to injury. But hey, maybe this is his shot at redemption. I mean, he's got way more experience than Joe Musgrove, the Padres starter, and he's had some solid outings against San Diego in the past.
True. Experience could definitely be the X factor here. Musgrove is still relatively untested in the postseason pressure cooker.
Okay, so there's a glimmer of hope for the Braves. But we got to give credit where credit is due. The Padres are on fire after that Game 1 performance. Did you see Michael King out there? 12 strikeouts. Is that even legal?
Seriously,
Yeah.
He was untouchable. And Fernando Tatis Jr., that home run, just launched it like it was nothing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of performance that gives a team that extra swagger.
I mean, you could practically feel the energy shift in the stadium when that ball left the yard. Braves have got to be feeling the pressure now.
And it wasn't just the Tatis show. Kyle Higashioka had himself a Game 2, a home run, and a sacrifice fly. They really came together as a team.
Okay, but here's the million-dollar question. Was it a fluke? Did they just catch lightning in a bottle, or have they figured out the Braves pitching? That's what we need to figure out.
That's the million-dollar question, all right? And to answer that, we got to start with the pitching matchup.
So we've got Max Fried taking the mound for the Braves. We know his playoff record's a bit spotty, but he can shut down a lineup when he's on.
Yeah, no doubt Fried's got the stuff. Question is which Fried shows up. And on the other side, you got Musgrove. Maybe not as much experience, but hey, he's at home.
True, true. And Petco Park, man, let's not forget about Petco. Not exactly a hitter's paradise, is it?
Nope. Definitely plays in the pitcher's favor. That huge outfield, the marine layer rolling in. You can hit a ball perfectly and still be 400 feet for an out.
Rough life for a slugger, right. But back to the Padres offense for a sec. That brings us back to that fluke question, doesn't it? Like, how much of Game 1 was them just teeing off, and how much was Petco working its magic?
Right. Got to factor that in. If they come out swinging again in Game 2, that's not a good sign for Atlanta.
Nope, not at all. Although, let's not act like the Braves are just going to roll over. This team, they've got that never say die attitude, you know.
Oh, for sure. They've been down before. They know how to battle back.
Exactly. But speaking of battles, let's talk odds. After that beatdown in Game 1, you'd figure Vegas would have the Padres as, like, massive favorites, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But it's not quite that clear cut.
Oh, really? All right, what are we talking here?
So, Padres are favored, yeah, but not by a mile. Odds are around -120, San Diego 100, Atlanta.
Okay, so for those of us who don't have a PhD in sports betting, what's that actually mean?
Basically, the odds makers are saying, don't count the Braves out just yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're acknowledging that Game 1 might have been a bit of an anomaly.
Interesting. So a bet on the Braves isn't like throwing your money away then?
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying it, And get this, the over-under. That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier, right? Surprisingly low, I thought. Especially with all the offensive firepower these teams have.
Totally. I've seen it as low as 6.5 runs. I mean, come on. That's practically disrespectful.
I know, right? Like, they're expecting a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Which, I mean, with Fried and Musgrove and Petco, it's possible.
Oh, it's definitely possible. But don't rule out a slugfest either. Remember what happened when these teams met earlier in the season?
Oh, man, that game was bananas. back and forth, home runs flying everywhere.
Exactly. So, yeah, the odds makers might be leaning towards low scoring, but I wouldn't be shocked if these teams decided to put on a show.
You never know with baseball, right? That's what makes it so great. Speaking of which, our trusty articles, they've actually got some conflicting predictions, which I love.
Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. When the experts disagree, makes you think a little harder.
Right. So we've got pick dogs. They're going full homer, calling for a Braves win, big believers in the whole bounce-back narrative.
Figure the Braves' experience, their leadership.
Yeah.
That'll be the difference. And, hey, I can't say I completely disagree.
Yeah, they've definitely got that been there, done that factor working for them. But then you've got NBC Sports, and they're leaning Padres. They're even saying Padres cover the spread, and they're taking the over on total runs.
See, now that's interesting, going against the grain on the over. Shows you just how unpredictable this game really is.
For real.
Yeah.
Braves with their backs against the wall, Padres trying to keep the momentum rolling. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. This is what playoff baseball is all about right here.
All right, so we've analyzed these articles. We've looked at every angle. Prediction time. What's your gut telling you?
Man, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Really tough. I mean, my head's saying this one could go either way.
Yeah.
But I think I got to go with the Padres.
Interesting. You think they're going to clinch it in game 2 then?
I'm not ready to hand them the series just yet. I'm thinking another close one. Maybe even lower scoring than game 1. Extra innings? Maybe.
Wow. Okay. Extra innings at Petco, under the lights. Talk about pressure. So for our listeners out there, what's the one thing they should keep in mind watching this game? What's the big takeaway?
You know, playoff baseball,
Yeah.
it's not just about the numbers.
No way, man. It's those little moments,
Yes,
right?
it
The
is.
errors, the clutch hits, the guy who comes out of nowhere.
Exactly. We can analyze all day long, but sometimes it's just
Yeah.
baseball, get a baseball. So yeah, take what we've talked about, use it, but also trust your gut.
Love it. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes this game so much fun to watch, right? Those unpredictable moments. A guy throws a no-hitter, a team rallies from 5 runs down. Anything's possible.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll be looking for in game 2.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This was awesome. Thanks for breaking it all down with me. For everyone listening, we'll be back soon with another deep dive. Until then, keep those scorecards handy.
And never lose that love for the game. See you all next time.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother...